Hello and welcome to Aviation This Week on Channels Television. I'm Bukola Joe Ketumbi. This week we're talking airlines. It's no longer news that most domestic operators face a hard time of running a business that is dollar dependent in a Naira denominated economy. Other issues include the cost of aviation fuel to double-digit interest rates on loans and lack of maintenance facilities in the country. It's to this matter that we turn our attention on the program, and our special report follows.
Deep in the hearts of domestic airline operators in Nigeria is the burden of how to reduce operating costs and maximize yield. Top on their worry list is the high price of aviation fuel, also known as Jet A1. In the last decade, the price has risen from 25 Naira to 197 Naira a litre, and at one point climbed as high as 220 Naira per litre. Depending on the airport, but at the moment sells between 125 to 140 Naira in Lagos. The commodity is cheapest in Lagos due to the proximity of seaports and costliest in the northern part of the country due to the distance from them. Here, marketers say they have to incur extra cost as they have to pay tankers and drivers to convey the product from the seaport to the airports in the north. This extra cost is passed on to the airlines and from them to the passengers. As a result, aviation fuel represents about 40% of the local carrier's total operating costs. There are other contributory factors which industry participants adduce to the failure of Nigerian airlines. These include the attitude of airlines themselves, the ruthless competition, and the failure of the airlines to cooperate and work together. Airlines also accuse the government of giving multiple entry points to foreign airlines.
The civil servants are responsible for all what we are seeing in aviation. If you say Nigerian airlines are weak, it's the civil servants. Look at now, you're going to give a frequency for South African Airways to come to Abuja, whereas we have been trying to tell them want to go to Cape Town. They refuse. They will not answer you. We were negotiated with Etihad. We were told to come to Abuja alone. And we said, okay, let us join with you, co-share with you, co-share with you, and bring to Lagos. It is the minister, Stella Odua. I'm saying my own. No, I'm not hiding anything. When I came to the minister, I said, we are trying to negotiate with Etihad. Oh, he said, well, okay. 3 weeks later, I was told, oh, they give them permission to come. They don't need it, just as they told OA. We want to go from Abuja to London. When British government refused to give us slots, we went and leased some from BMI for £1 million a year. When British Airways saw that we were getting passengers, they went and bought those slots.
Authorities say they acknowledge that the indigenous carriers have limited capacity. International carriers must be encouraged to then fly into Nigeria to meet the demand of the country's heavy traffic.
What the airlines are saying, if I understand them very well, is that the Emirates should be limited like to Lagos alone, so that they will have opportunity to shuttle the passengers between Abuja, Lagos, between Kano, Lagos, Maiduguri, Lagos. The domestic airlines wants to do this shuttle to carry these passengers to Lagos for Emirates to carry. Now, looking at it, the way I look at it is, do we consider the passengers? It will be like double taxation on the passengers also. Because if, for example, I'm going to Abuja from I'm going to Dubai from Abuja, and I have to go to Lagos to fly. I will take a domestic airline to Lagos, and I will take domestic airline back to Lagos, back to Abuja. And should I miss my flight or anything happens, I have to spend the night in Lagos, I'll have to go into a hotel. So look at the economic situation there. Is it cost effective for me as a passenger? What of the risk factor?
Although the government would like the Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos to become a major hub in Africa, experts say the dream may never come about because the major attraction for airlines, apart from traffic, isn't always lower charges and cheaper fuel, but airports with the necessary infrastructure needed for smooth and seamless operation. Another issue that is key to the operations of domestic carriers is the access to single-digit loan by financial institutions and the need for sustainability, which is the crux of this occasion. And experts from the airline and travel industries are here to brainstorm. Most believe Nigerian carriers must wake up to their responsibility while urging the federal government to lend support.
Most operating airlines in Nigeria tilt towards capital restructuring, thus signifying cash burn and insolvency. Most Nigerian airlines are in partnership with AMCON. Benefited from CBN intervention fund, but are still having challenges. Banking facilities are not available for airlines.
Navigating the murky waters of financing is also highlighted.
Traveling in Africa is by far more expensive compared to anywhere else in the world. Why? Because we have a high cost of borrowing money. I mean, if an African airline, it costs me twice, just because I'm African, not because anything else. So I think the ecosystem around is very difficult, and probably part of it is a question of size, part of it is a question of environment. And so we need to understand what is something we can work as an industry and something that can be worked by the government on the other side.
When all that is done, the need for Nigerian carriers to be on time in performance, treat the customer as king, as well as effectively compete both at home and abroad is important. If the industry must take its pride of place and stop the billions of naira in capital flight.